Wednesday, everyone. So, you've probably seen some of these memes where somebody has shaved their cat to look like a T Rex or a monster of some kind. Or maybe, I don't know, you've thought that perhaps in the hottest days of the summer, that maybe Kitty would like to have their fur shaved off so they can stay cool. Well, is this a good idea? Let's talk about that. For now, I say welcome to Cat Chat with me. I'm Penny. And today we're going to talk about whether or not you should shave a cat. But I will tell you, the short answer is no. But before I go into the details, I'd like to know where you're watching from. Are you watching this live or on replay? You can use hashtag live, hashtag replay. Tell me where you're watching from. State and city if you want. State, country if you're not watching. So I'm in the US, and I think not everyone is in the US who catches this. And yeah, so here we are. Today is Wednesday, and I go live on Wednesdays because I like to. Also, I'm kind of weird. All right. So the question really is, should you shave a cat? Well, should you? Well, I just sort of hinted at the answer is no. Now, there are reasons why you might need to shave a cat. But on the whole, you shouldn't shave a cat. And the reasons are, some of them are the similar reasons to why you might not shave a husky, for example. I have two huskies. They get along great with cats. One of them actually is convinced he is a cat, but that's a topic for another broadcast. But in cats, all cats, and in huskies, the coat is insulation. Now, we get it in our head that insulation keeps heat in. So if you're trying to lose heat, you need to remove insulation. But also, when we think about insulation keeps heat out. So if you have a well-insulated house, it's actually easier to keep it cool on the inside, right? Right? You over there, you know this. So insulation is important. And with a cat's fur, just like a dog's fur, a husky's fur, the fur itself actually forms a protective barrier from the heat, the intense sun, to get into your dog or cat's body. So if the reason why you're shaving is to try to cool down your animal, it's probably not going to work the way you think it's going to work. And then additionally, we have to consider some important things like, for example, dogs don't sweat. Now, if we want to dump heat as human beings, we might shave our heads, okay? Or for me, I keep my hair short in the summer because otherwise I overheat pretty easily. Or if you're a person who has long hair, you put it up. Okay. That's because we sweat. We dump heat by sweating, and then the water in the sweat evaporates, and that cools us down. This is why wind chill is a thing for humans, because when water evaporates, it cools things down. That's how swamp coolers work. Okay, evaporation causes things to get cooler. That's great. That works if you're an animal that sweats. Many mammals sweat. Actually, dogs and cats do sweat, but they don't sweat on their bodies like we do. They sweat on their pads. They probably sweat some other places too, but mostly they just sweat on their pads, and they dump heat by panting. Ever notice that your dog pants when it's a hot day? Yeah, that's because that's how they lose heat. They breathe it out. And they actually very carefully, if you pay attention to the way a dog pants, they breathe out through their mouth, dumping heat, and they breathe in through their nose to cool the air as it goes in. Okay. So yeah. So dogs don't sweat the way we do, and cats don't sweat the way we do. So having the heavy coat actually helps them stay cool, just like living in a well-insulated building will make it easier to keep the inside cool. And then their mouth and their pads are the little AC units. Now there's additional challenges with cats, and also with huskies, but I won't go into those, other than to say you should never shave a husky either, unless you absolutely have to. And with cats, you should only shave them if you absolutely have to. And here's why. Cat skin is super thin. Have you ever looked at it? I mean, if you've had a cat that's had surgery or something, they've had part of their skin, part of their fur shaved, you see that their skin is like paper thin. It's just like the skin on the back of your hands, for example. It's just super thin. And with clippers, it's very easy to accidentally nick the skin. And you add the additional problem that their skin isn't firmly attached to the underlying muscles in the same way that our skin is firmly attached to our flesh underneath. It moves around, so what you get is a little nick, but it's sliding all over the place, and you have this open space between the skin and the rest of their muscles, which is just a breeding ground for bacteria and all kinds of problems. So you want to avoid nicking the skin as much as possible. Cats get abscesses all the time under their skin. So yeah. The other thing is, in addition to the risks of, nicking the skin and causing an open wound that becomes infected, they also are susceptible. Wow, that was harder than I expected it to be. They are susceptible to sunburn. Yeah, I mean, think about it. You shave your head, you put a hat on it, kind of defeats the purpose, or you put sunscreen on it, right? Because otherwise, you're going to burn your scalp. Raise your hand, or say, yep, say yes in the comments if you have burned your scalp at some point. I have, even with my full head of hair, I have burned my scalp right in the part here more times than I care to count, and that is super painful. Now, cats will also burn their skin. They will sunburn, and it's bad. And they often, cats do frequently burn their nose, especially lighter haired cats. They burn their nose. They can burn their ears. So if you shave them, they're risking sunburn as well. So totally, you really want them to keep their hair because it acts like sunblock for them as well. And also, and this is the case with huskies, and I have little doubt that it's the same with cats, especially double-coated breeds, the fur has a hard time growing back right also. So, you just really, unless you absolutely have to, you don't want to shave a cat. Now, what does that mean if you have a long-haired cat that mats a lot? Well, I'll be honest, I have clippers. And if I have a cat that has a really bad mat, I go right on ahead and I clip that out. But I only clip that one spot. And I do it extremely carefully, and I try not to get right up against the skin. I try to just make sure the clippers go underneath the mat so I can get it off of there. Now, if you have a cat that's severely matted, then that action's going to have to be shaved off. And I've had that happen. I have one of our cats, Arthur Dent. He's semi-feral, so I can't brush him. But actually, he's getting to a place where he actually kind of wants to be brushed. But for years, I couldn't, and he's a long hair, so he wound up with a massive mat on his backside. And what do? In that case, a mat can be really painful. It can pull on the skin, and that can also cause damage. So when it gets bad enough, and it's clearly not something you're going to be able to cut out or clip out easily, then you have to go to the vet and have it shaved off. And when you do, they're probably going to have to anesthetize the cat. Having this noisy thing right up against their flesh. If it's a tiny mat, sometimes they'll let you do it. I've had cats, the long hair ones, that get lots of mats here, so I can pull them out and clip them off, and then they're done. But then, but if it's a big deal, especially if it's a cat that's been a stray cat or something, then they're going to have to be anesthetized for this. So the best thing you can do if you have a cat that's matting and you think it might need to be shaved is to try. There are lots of things you can try to do. I spend a lot of time with my long-haired cats sort of trying to wiggle out some of these mats, and they don't like it too much. But if you work with them enough, they'll let you pull on them a little bit, and then maybe you can use a brush. Don't use scissors. Oh, please don't use scissors. I made that mistake one time, and poor kitty got stitches. Don't use scissors. Don't use scissors. Please, don't use scissors. So there you go. So the long and the short of it is, no, you probably shouldn't shave your cat unless you really have to. And if you do need to shave your cat because of matting or because of surgery, leave that to the professionals. Because you and me, we're not good enough at this. And there's a fair chance that there will be a cat, or that it will be necessary. There's a fair chance that it'll be necessary to anesthetize the cat to get its mats clipped. I do have a comment here. Are there concerns about messing up the coat with shaving like there are with dogs? I actually don't know the answer to that. I would be concerned, especially for the double-coated breeds, for the same reason why I wouldn't want to shave my husky, because the coat will never grow back right. But, and in the end, my attitude about it is, as long as you don't shave unless you absolutely have to. If you absolutely have to, then it just doesn't matter. You're going to have to shave. And if the reason why you're shaving is because you think that the cat is overheating, that's not the case. And but yeah, I can look into that though. So I don't think I read anything that said that they're the same kinds of concerns, but there are double-coated cats, just like huskies are double-coated, and like Maine Coons. And I don't know if that would really affect the quality of their fur. Although I'm going to wager that a breeder will tell you, please don't shave your Maine Coon, for all the same reasons. All right, everyone. Well, I've been going for a while, and I've got things I need to do today, because it's Wednesday, and it's the middle of the week. Got so much to do. It's insane. So I hope you all have a great rest of your week. If you have any questions, I posted in Cat Chat with Penny, which is my private Facebook group. If you can put this on Meowing House as well, or any of the YouTube channel, LinkedIn. If you have things you want me to talk about in Cat Chat related to cat behavior, please understand. Cat behavior and health, I should say. Please understand, I am not an expert. I'm not a vet. I'm not a cat behaviorist. I just have 30 cats in my house and a lot of experience. But if you have questions that you think I can help you with, let me know. And I will see you all next week. Have a good one and stay warm.